Hello, surprise! It's Angela. It's not Tish. But before Tish comes out, Jazzy has given me some instruction to it's Jazzy time. So hold on a second and let me get Jazzy out here for y'all while Tish is finishing up some extra special things for you. Here we go with Jazzy.
And welcome. I'm back. I have a little bit of a surprise here. So she has her own mic, and it's not shaped like a mic, but it is her brush, and she loves it so much. So I thought it would be a great way to get her attention before I haul out my mic and start asking her questions. So how is everybody doing? I'm glad someone's found me. That's excellent. So we are here with Jazzy the cat. And in a moment, I'm going to ask her some questions. While I wait for a few more people to join us. I know there were about 11 people that were going to come into the group here with us. And she is, hey Bonnie, I don't know if you can hear her, but she is purring right now. And I'll see if I can angle the camera a little bit lower so you can see her. And she's the star of the show right now, right? This is her press release. So while she's getting a little bit of attention and sitting in one spot, it's time to take up my microphone. So here we are. Now we are official. Which of course means she's going to get up and walk away. So Jazzy, you said you had some secrets to share today about the upcoming book, Tishspiration, The Art of Surprising Yourself. And one of the secrets that we are going to reveal today, there are a couple to pick from. So let's start with the beginning. Jazzy wanted me to help her announce that she is, gonna talk? No? She's the author of the introduction of my new book. And it pleases her to be able to share that with you because it's been a secret for a little bit of a time now, and she's not being... There are a few people that knew, but not everybody was in the loop, and so that is the first secret we're revealing today. She's really loving her brush, which is awesome. I knew it would work to get her on the desk for her big announcement because, you know, cats, they're fun to work with because they don't sit still, and sometimes it's hard to get her attention. She likes to knock things on the floor. And, well, the second thing she wants me to announce, she's telling me now, the second thing is that the pre-order for Tishspiration, The Art of Surprising Yourself, my next book, in which Jazzy the cat writes the intro, is going to be up as soon as possible. If I can get that up before midnight, it's going up tonight because the book is in progress and it's happening. The pre-order will be until Sunday, however that works with Amazon because it's going to be released on Sunday, November 7th. So excited. The third thing she wants to release, she's got a couple of secrets left here, y'all. So there's still more. She is wanting me to tell you, as she takes over the mic and the brush, she wants me to let you know that there's going to be a contest on Goodreads. And if you're not a member on Goodreads, it's connected with Amazon, but it's not Amazon itself. So what happens is, to enter a contest on Goodreads, you have to be a member. Once you sign up, you can look for giveaways. And there'll be links, of course. I'll make links for you all. And there is going to be a giveaway for 5 print copies of my new book. So what does that mean? That means I'm going to take on postage within the US and Canada. I'm going to try to make it even if I can. shipping in Canada is more expensive than in the United States, so we're not doing a large number of books, but I think 5 is a good number to give out 5 signed copies. Once they arrive here, I'll sign them and send them out. And that is something that's going to be happening in November. I'm going to set it up to start as soon as I can on Goodreads, and we'll give it a week or two for the book to be out and people to start asking about it. I'd like to do it to have it end on the 7th, but I'm not sure how it all works yet. So I'll let you know the details when I figure that out. Jazzy kind of sprung this on me. I'm still figuring out how it all works. And the last bit of information that we're revealing here in our press release. Oh, still got a few minutes, but I didn't want to go too long today. But the last information that she has to share is that Jazzy is going to be featured on the back cover of my new book. So that's something nobody knew yet except for Roy and I don't think. So that is a huge secret. Nobody knew that was happening but Roy and I, and of course she kind of figured it out when we planned a photo shoot with her. It's hard to keep her out of the loop on that one, right? But what do you think? I see that Bonnie and Patty are here. Thank you. And someone else is watching. So I'm wondering, do you have any comments, feedback, thoughts, questions before we wrap with this press release? Diva. Russian Jazzy. So I can't see if there are comments below the first two, so I'm not sure. I have my hands kind of busy. Hey Mary, thank you. I'm so glad that you got to join us. Did you get to see all 4 announcements? Because there will be, you can catch the replay. But yes, we have revealed 4 secrets today. And somebody's getting very demanding about the brush. Look, she wants to use it like her own mic. So, I want to know if there's any questions or any thoughts y'all have about the pre-order and the contest that I'm going to run on Goodreads. What do we all think? Is that a good idea? There is a fee for me to enter a contest, but it is hopefully going to help expand the launch of the book and to get more eyes on my book. I've done a bit of research on it, not a lot. I won't be going premium. I'll be going with the standard. And I've selected 5 books because I will have to cover shipping out to the 5 people that are winners. And of course, that's coming into my business pocket, so I can't afford to have a huge one like a publishing company. Do you have anything else to add, Jazzy? There you have it. I hope you enjoyed Jazzy's first press release. And I will see you when I see you. Thanks for watching.
I loved that. And the purrs were like perfectly timed. So you knew she was responding. There is Tish and Jazzy. I will step off the stage and give you the total spotlight. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I had a quick change because I just hit publish. Jazzy was asleep this afternoon. She tried to visit a lot while I was working. So I wanted her to be here to let you know that my ebook is what is ready. It is in step 2 right now. Step 1 means that it is in review. Step 2, it says publishing. So as soon as I have a link, I'm going to start dropping it everywhere. The paper book does take a little bit longer, so it might be a day or 2 before it's actually ready to go, but I'm here. I did it. And it was a crazy day. I sat and worked all day long. Like I have my screen up there so that I can check on the status of the book as it goes through the loops and hoops of Amazon. But the ebook is there. I had to take the approach of thinking that I was going to make the ebook, if not both, today. And I will be sharing links everywhere as soon as the paperback is ready because I need to get some ordered for the sale I have lined up in December here locally in Fredericton. I will be signing books at the Northside Market. If you weren't aware and you live in the area, I hope to see you in December on the first 3 weekends, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, which is going to be a change for me from working at home. But I think it's going to work out well. Now, if you haven't met her yet, my sidekick is Jazzy. She just had her press release, and she really loves it when we take out the brush. So she's here joining me right now. Straighten that out a little bit. And I mean, that's behind the scenes on my screen, but I'm watching it and monitoring it. I'm going to upload, refresh it in a few minutes and see what's going on. So I do see, I think I'm going to double check. Okay, so I see we have 2 guests here. Welcome. And I want to run this as an open forum so that if anyone would like to come up on stage with me, you can let me know in the chat or let Angela, who's helping me with this, know in the chat. And what happens is we will be able to bring you up on the stage. And if you have any comments or questions about books or, advice on how long it takes for things to get rolling. This is my second book, so I'm not a pro yet. I helped my cousin with her own book in the summer. I finished, and then I'm really bad at dragging my feet about getting things done. And today was a mad scramble behind the scenes to get as far as I have, to be here and with you. When we finish up, I'm probably going to be going back into paperback book production. Now that I've got the Kindle ebook ready, I'm really excited, and I can't wait for people to get it onto their devices and read it and let me know what they think. I've had really good reviews so far from the beta readers. I don't know the person that's here with is a placeholder, person number 4. I'm not sure if you are from one of my circles or if you're just here checking this out because you found it on your feed and you decided to come see what was happening. Do I suggest doing both an ebook and a paper book? Absolutely. And I can tell you why. Even Amazon is starting doing hardcover books, and there's a big push for audiobooks. So when you're setting up to do a book, if you can get it out in as many different formats as possible, it's more accessible for more people, and therefore it works out better for you as an author. The more people that see, read, or hear your book, the more that people that will talk about it, and hopefully the more people will recommend it so that other people will pick it up and they will be able to read your book and enjoy it. I'm starting to breathe normally again because it's been a fast and furious day. And I even fit in time for church for those of us who are faith-based. So there is a little bit on my belief system in the Tishspiration, The Art of Surprising Yourself book, but it does not mean that I am preachy or telling anybody what they should believe or anything like that. You have to figure out your own belief system, and I go a little bit into mine. So I hope that doesn't deter anyone who might want to give it a chance, because the whole book is not like that at all. Of course, it's full of surprises because Tishspiration is defined as the art of surprising yourself. And thank you, Mary. I'm pretty proud of myself right now, and I haven't even got all the work done yet. But I got this for her. And that's the thing about Tishspiration. When you focus on trying new things and seeing what you can do, that helps propel you to doing what you are capable of doing. And then sometimes you surprise yourself with what you can do because you don't know you can do things that you didn't try before. So it all comes together. And you can see she's enjoying her time with the brush, but if she disappears, I will put it away. She's a little bit spoiled. And can't leave the brush alone. Go figure. I don't know if you can hear her purring, but she is purring up a storm. And I'm going to refresh the Amazon page to see if I have a link ready yet. While I do that, I want to talk a little bit about the spelling of Tishspiration because quite a few people dropped one of the letters. And it is something that I want to talk about because not ready yet, but it's still in processing. So it's something I want to talk about because I want people to take this word that I've created and defined and help me get it into a dictionary. So to do that, it has to be used on a regular basis in all forms. Hi, Deborah. Glad you can join us. In all forms of the way you use words. So in speaking in conversation, in written words, and on the internet. I've got a hashtag with it because hashtag Tishspiration is kind of how this started. And there it is. So there's the spelling. And if you see the spelling, there are 2 of the letter S in there. And I was trying to figure out how to get people to remember that there's a second S because a lot of people go Tishspiration, but they miss that extra S. It's Tishspiration. So the way I figured this out for myself, and hopefully it'll help some other people, is that when you think of Tishspiration, you're thinking of inspiration. And there are 2 S's in inspiration. Coincidentally, there are also 2 S's in surprise. So those 2 words will help you remember there are 2 S's in the word Tishspiration. But the other thing is, when you think about Tishspiration, you do not think about perspiration. There's only 1 S in perspiration. So now you can remember that there are 2 S's in Tishspiration, and you can do that with no sweat. I know that I don't get angry about anybody misspelling it because the thing is, like, there's a correct and an incorrect way of spelling everything, right? And it's a word I made up. So when you're thinking about a word that came out of here and I figured out how to spell it, not everybody is going to know how to spell it because it's new. And this might be the first time you're experiencing me as an author, and me as the creator of Tishspiration. I'm going to straighten that up so I'm not looking sideways. So what does it take to write a book? Let's see. How are you hoping people use the word in common conversation? Great question. I have an example that didn't make it into my book, and I think it's very relatable and current. Within the last month, something happened in the science fiction genre world fandom that you might be familiar with. William Shatner, who plays Captain Kirk on the original Star Trek series, went into space. There's a lot of controversy about people spending money on things that are not necessary for life here on Earth. And yes, I understand that. But we're not here to talk about how much his seat cost in the rocket ship. We're talking about the fact that the actor, William Shatner, went into space and lived out a dream that Captain Kirk probably never imagined would happen. If you watched any of the footage, he landed and they did all the safety checks and all the precautions. And while this was all happening, I had some humorous tweets in mind, and I didn't want to share them until he was safe because, you know, you don't want to feel bad. You have to be careful how you drop your humor at times. And when he arrived safely, then he got out of the rocket ship, the part that came back down that had the people in it, and he talked to Jeff Bezos. And what he said was profound. He talked about the layer of blue between outer space and the blackness, which he equated to death, and life on the other side of that blue border that was like a blanket wrapping around the earth. He talked about that. He talked about how we need to preserve it. And he also talked about how overcome he was and he didn't want to forget the moment. To me, I've never met William Shatner, but to me, that was a moment where he experienced Tishspiration because he was overcome with emotion and joy over doing something he never thought he would do. Another example is something I saw online when I was scrolling the other night. I haven't shared it. It was one of those videos that, you click on it, see what happens. And it was a little boy. But the point of the video was to show his reaction after he did something. And he was on a scooter, which is not motorized, one of the ones you push with your feet. And he was in a park where they were doing tricks and they were filming them. And this kid was maybe between 8 and 10. He wasn't really a teenager, I don't think. So he was on the younger side. And when he did his turn, got to his turn, he went down the ramp. And when he was up in the air, he did 2 flips before he landed and went on the ledge. And that's the moment right over there when he landed on the ledge is what caught my eye. Because, again, he was elated. He asked the person with the camera, "Did you see that? I just did 2 somersaults in the air by myself." And he was over the moon. And that is the kind of thing that Tishspiration can do in your life. When you try things and you push a little bit harder than you normally would, and you keep going, and you keep practicing, and you keep pushing, you find your moment of Tishspiration. And it's not a secret that I really started to put it together when I did the Dance with Janet competition. So it's not spilling all the secrets to tell you that I did audition to dance with Janet Jackson. I sent in a tape. Well, I guess it would be a electronic video, right? MP4 as an audition into Janet Jackson. It's on my YouTube channel. And throughout the process, I did my thing. I dragged my feet. I overthought. Something I do a lot of, I think a lot. Then I decided to try it. Started putting something together. Then I asked a friend to come in and give me some advice and hold a camera, which she did. I'm very grateful. And then I had a full day of filming by myself where I tailored and polished what I thought was the best I could do. Once I finished recording for that day, I had to leave the house and go pick up my husband, who was somewhere doing something, probably working somewhere. And when I left the house, I knew that when I came back, I wouldn't be alone anymore. So I gave myself a few minutes between finishing the recording of me with the audition I was sending into Janet Jackson and leaving the house. And I stood back there in my kitchen by my table. And I had my purse on the table. And I was digging out my keys. And then it hit me. I did it. So the noise that comes out of me generally when I do that is and the hands go and the feet go, and nobody really saw it at that moment. And that's probably not the right pitch because I'm not as excited then, although I might have been half an hour ago when I hit publish on that book. But that moment, that's what defined it for me. The moment of realizing you did what you didn't think you could do. And once you experience it, you want more. Not everything is going to be a momentous Tishspiration moment. There are times when something that doesn't seem like a big deal actually works out to be huge for you personally. And nobody else even knows it happened. But when you get that moment, celebrate it. That's your Tishspiration moment. So I hope that answered your question. You can use it anywhere where you find that little bit of time. When you celebrate the fact that you made something that you dreamed about happen and you were able to claim that dream. I'm going to refresh my screen now. Let's see if it's ready yet. Because this is the exciting part on this side of the writing of a book. Because when you write a book and you get to the point where you're going to publish, you then have to wait for Amazon to make it go live. And it says it's submitted, and I have to hit it twice to make it do this. No, it's waiting. So it wants me to publish the paperback and a hardcover, just so you know. And they are in progress. I haven't decided if I'm going to do a hardcover yet. I think I might wait and see how the paperback does. Because the paperback, if the sales are good on the paperback, then I might try the hardcover. Just to see what it looks like. To see, if it's something that people want, definitely let me know. And I can make that happen because it's fairly streamlined at that point. If I've got a paperback, the inside is going to be the same. It's only the outside that's going to look different. So we can figure that out when I get to that stage. Anybody have any other questions out there? So I'm here for another little bit till I get tired of talking or I get kicked off the stage. What's next for Tishspiration? I believe that's what this question means. Am I planning to use the book for teaching or speaking? Once the book is fully published, the next step for me will be to work on getting the word into the dictionary. As I do that, I'm going to have to talk more about what Tishspiration is, what Tishspiration means. And so speaking is going to come naturally with that. Something else that's going to happen is I'm going to start working with people online, and I'm going to help them figure out how to get to their Tishspiration. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen right away. It doesn't even work on the first try. If it did, you wouldn't need to write a draft and then a second draft and then edit and do another draft of a book before you published it. It would be ready the first time. And most things that are worth putting the time and effort into aren't easy to do. But it's so amazing when you get it done. Something I'm working on is bullet journals. I've started working on typewriters because I would like to gear a pre-made bullet journal for people who don't feel comfortable with the artistic side of it and want to have something laid out and ready for them to fill in, but it would be more personalized. The areas I would be focusing on would be accountability, and it would be focused for authors, but that doesn't mean that it's exclusive. If you don't have a word count for the day to fill out, you could fill out your steps for the day, or you could fill out that you've worked on your gratitude journal for the day, something like that. They would be something that is customizable. But on the first run, I'm not going to go super fancy because it's my first run and I'm trying this to see what happens, because that's what Tishspiration is all about. So the Tishspiration bullet journals are something that I'm working on. I'm also working on setting up a Tishspiration bullet journal club. I've got 3 days a month set aside that I'll be meeting at a table here in Airmeet, where we are now, in the virtual cafe. Once I have people interested, I'm going to start holding office space within a time frame. I'm looking at the 1st, 15th, and 22nd of every month. We are going to miss the 1st of December. Maybe. We won't have anything to show on the 1st of December. It'll be the meeting where we meet, greet, and plan out. The 15th is meant to be a planning session every month for the bullet journal, and the 22nd would be the session that we work on it. So all 3 meetings, you can work on your bullet journal through the whole time, and it's meant to be continually revised and edited. It's something that you use actively, and when done right, it can really help you keep on track with what you're working on, because there's a system built into it that allows you to, if you're copying something forward every month, every week, every day, you're going to get tired of doing that. And then you're going to decide either you're going to get it done or it's not going to be moving forward anymore because you're going to drop it and it's not that important. That's where the idea started from. And it took off in many different directions, because there are people who use a bullet journal with just a regular pen and a regular notebook, and it's all text. And that is totally how it was designed when it was first brought out. I like to try and find a combination between pretty and functional. So when I'm working on the bullet journal for myself and trying to develop one for others, I'm working on what do I need in there to keep me moving forward, and how can I make it fun to work on and pretty to look at. I discovered in the last year or so, I like pretty things. And it's not something that has to be expensive, but I realized that probably is a little bit more of my femininity coming through, that I like things that are pretty, and it should be something that I'm okay with, because it's one of those things that I never really focused on until the last year or two. And I went, yeah, I kind of like wearing dresses. Who knew? And they go great with leggings. And it's just something I'm into right now. So instead of not focusing on things that I really enjoy and appreciate, I've started doing a little bit more of that. And it's something that I want to keep working on and keep promoting, because if you love something, you should share it and you should enjoy it. Just like when I bring Jazzy up on the stage. Because she's been a really great addition to our household. So for all the cat lovers out there, I'm going to brag on Jazzy a little bit, because we have a really great relationship. Today, I spent the day going scoop and put her on the floor, scoop off the desk and put her on the floor. And eventually she stopped coming around and went to lay on the bed because it was that time of day. I did give her some TREATS. If I say that out loud, she's going to run to her tower and expect some. But she reacts the same way for that word, whether or not it's edible, because if I pull out the brush, she does the same thing. And so that's something, we've developed a little bit. She's very skittish and timid around different noises. So we've been working on that with the paper bags. So if you've seen my videos with Jazzy and the catnip in the paper bag, that's a win. Because when she would hear the noise before, she would run and hide. And now she actually goes in there by herself with nobody making her do it. And she plays around in the catnip and then she comes out. Which, if you have animals, you have to train them how to react to different stimuli. Oh, yeah, I have an animal science degree. I have a Bachelor of Science and it's in animal science. So my familiarity with this would be like the Pavlov's dogs, and you ring the bell and the dog salivates because it thinks it's getting fed. You train them for things, right? Horses, they can be skittish, and a way to help them is to expose them to what they're scared of, whether it's a noise or something that, a new brush or something that they don't like because it's different. They can be really skittish. And so that's where the thought process came from for working with her. It was because I wanted to focus on, okay, she's skittish around noises. So let's start with something that she's scared of. In a paper bag, she would run every time we drop one. Let's put catnip in there and see what happens. And I worked with her. And it didn't take her too long. She did adapt. She's kind of like a Jack Russell Terrier in a cat body with a Labrador Retriever tail. Have you seen the tail on that cat? It gives a good whack sometimes. But the reason I say that she's been really great for our house is we do get a lot of entertainment from her. She has her certain little quirks, and we really enjoy learning about her personality while she lives with us. And I've also trained her to do a special thing with me in the mornings. Not today. I had a bit of a hectic schedule today. But on most mornings, the alarm will go off, I'll roll over on my back and get comfortable, and then I'll call her. And she will come and she will lay on top of me. And we have a few minutes of our morning time. It seems to help her settle throughout the day and ground her a little bit, which is good because she can climb the ceilings if we let her get wound up. And the relationship I have with her is, I do joke about her being my therapy cat, but I do really think, like, there was a time in the last year or two, we've all had a moment, I'm sure, when we needed to just release emotions because of what's been going on. And so I did have a bad day. I'm sure there were more than one, but the one I'm talking about is a day when I was upset and I didn't know what to do with myself, and I was here by myself. So I went down and I laid on the bed on my back. Didn't she come along with that monster purr and snuggle? So that's why I say that, I joke about her being my four-legged boss when I'm working at home, but that's why I say she's my therapy cat. Hello, welcome to the party. She is spectacular. We're talking about Jazzy, or I am. And she keeps us from just being lonely. Because we had a time between the books, and my first book is actually behind me there, which I wrote about the different cats we've had over the years. And when I was writing that book, we didn't have any cats because we had lost the last one out of the 5 that we had at that point. And I needed a break before we accepted another cat into our heart. And Jazzy came along, and did she ever work out? So there's a reason I include her in things. It's because she's really important to me. And I think you will have a lot of fun when you read her introduction to the book. So let's take a minute and go back to that reel that we had with her. Jazzy the cat is going to have her picture on the back cover of the print book, the paperback, that is on the way, not quite ready yet. And if you missed it, I have hit publish on the ebook. I did do a preview. It looks good. But the processing on the Amazon side is still happening. But I hit the button, so it's going to work. And it went from in review to publishing. So now it's just a matter of time before it goes live and we can order it. That is coming. I'm going to try and refresh again and see if anything changed. It says it can take up to 72 hours, but it doesn't normally take that long. And I'm still working on the paperback, so hopefully it'll line up. Maybe it's all supposed to go this way. It's really hard to get through everything that comes at you and have everything go off the way you expect it to. And I would have liked to have everything ready, up and going, but I got as far as I could, and I'm going to celebrate that. And that's the reason we're here tonight, is because the ebook is out, pending, but coming, and I got my part done. That's the part that we have to remember. My part is done on the ebook. Now it just has to be released into the world, and then I get to wait and see what everybody thinks about it. So are there any other questions this evening? I feel like I've been talking forever. Any other authors in the room or aspiring authors? I need to check here. All right. I think I've slowed down. I thought that was you, Janae. Hey, I'm glad you're here. And thank you, Deborah. It's been a wild ride today, and really all week. And, the whole time I've been working on this. I'm glad to hear it, Janae. I really, really think that if there is just a little part of you inside that wants to write a book, then you should do it. And run with it. I am frozen. Is that on my end or yours, everyone? Hello, I froze up. I'm not sure what happens when we're recording and this happens, but I'll keep talking. Oh, here comes the mayor.
You're good. You are a bit frozen, so you might want to hit refresh on the top of your screen.
I can do that. It says,
there we go. She'll be right back. Air Meat loves refresh. Frozen smiling is a good thing, Deborah. Yes. Okay, let's see. She's on her way. There we go. You're back.
surprise!
Yay! Okay, I will step back out.
Okay. So I froze good, Deborah? That's awesome. Let me tell you about the journey today, because it was a full day. I tried to order champagne to have this evening. My husband missed the message. I told him that was probably going to cost him a strawberry beer, which I'll probably crack into once we're done recording. When we're in the lounge after we're done, I'm done on stage. But things happen. You just roll with it. You may show up tonight with one. I don't know. It wasn't going to be here in time, so I just said, okay, fine. Go without. And we have more launches coming with this book, right? So it'll pop up later. Don't worry. I spent the better part of 11 hours today getting this book up for Amazon. And by the time I started today, yes, it was written. Yes, it was edited. Yes, it was proofread by a good friend with a red pen. And that copy got merged with the one I did online. And then from there, I had notes. And I don't know if you saw my Facebook stories, but yesterday I snapped a photo. Last night I snapped a photo of Jazzy, and she was laying here on the desk, and she was looking at a clipboard. And on the clipboard was paper with writing and highlighter on it. It was actually part of the book that I was working on, because even though it's published now and I've been working on it madly in the last couple of weeks, it's actually been up here for a very long time. And that's something that I mentioned earlier, is I overthink, and I'm always thinking. I never know when my brain is going to pop something out that I need. And throughout the last couple of years, even though I wasn't writing the book like I should have been, and I try not to should on myself, I know that. But when I wasn't writing it, I was thinking about it, and I did start writing it a couple of times. To my credit, I did actually work on it. But it wasn't ready and it wasn't right. And then I started again, and it wasn't ready and it wasn't right. So by the time I picked today as a deadline, I was still kind of dragging my feet. That's kind of how I roll about things I'm not sure about. So I didn't have the full beta version out for people to read with enough time for them to give me a lot of feedback. That's okay. I did my best, and it's processing. But when I did get feedback from the introduction through to chapter 5, the people that did take a few minutes to let me know that yes, they read their part. Yes, they wanted the second part. Yes, they enjoyed the book. When they got to those stages and they started talking to me, it was really cool to hear what they had to say. My friend with the red pen that I mentioned, there's a section in the part that she edited, and it's this block. And it says, very relatable, well written. So that's one little bit of feedback. I've been told that I am very good with words to describe things. And not just the long, flowery descriptions you get in a lot of books, but to bring you in and make you feel like you're experiencing what I'm experiencing, either there with me or I'm telling you about it, and it's like we're in the same room and we're talking. So that is something that I've been told. Another person said it was interesting and they wanted to see where it was going. And another person said, brilliant, and that I was onto something really good. I'm not making this up. This is what people told me. I haven't had any negative reviews, but that's okay. I know they're coming. That's part of life. Bad things happen. That's something we cover in the book. And I do work hard to be positive all the time and be an optimist, but that doesn't mean I don't realize that things happen. And sometimes they even happen to me. And sometimes they happen to my family, and sometimes they happen to my friends. I try to be the person that brings everybody up and keeps everybody moving forward. It's not always easy. And there are times when I really have to be careful when I'm choosing my words, because there are a lot of people who are quite sensitive to different things that people say. And I don't want to add to that problem. So when I'm speaking and I take a minute, I'm trying to find the right words. When I worked at the call center, which I do write about for 7 years, it would sometimes frustrate the people on the other end of the phone, because I would stop and just think, how do I say that? Or I would think, did they really just say that? And not immediately respond. Because you never know what other people are going to say or think or do, especially if you're working at a call center or in retail. I've done my share of both. So I did mention the Bullet Journal Club earlier, and one of the things I forgot to mention about that is that it is going to be a membership. It is going to be reasonable, and it is going to require a one-on-one meeting here in Airmeet at the lounge at a table with me, to discuss that when you're ready. I want to try to meet people where they are, but there is going to be a fee. And the reason is because I am booking my time. I am setting aside time 3 days a month, whatever time we decide upon in those dates, to be here to support people who are doing what I'm doing, creating their own bullet journal. Because the one that I'm setting aside the membership fee for is for people who are already bullet journaling and they want to do it in a co-working kind of situation, or they need ideas, but they want to do it themselves and they need encouragement in a safe space. The Bullet Journal Club is going to do that. We're going to have a place where we hang out just like this, except there will be room for us all to hang out together at a table, like we're actually in a cafe, even though we're online. That's kind of what Biscotti Park's vibe is, and we will be working on them together. So if somebody wants to know if this looks right, or how do I go about finding something to draw that looks like that, or what color should I use for this, that kind of stuff is going to be discussed in those meetings, because that's going to be the focus of our club meetings. Is going to be our own bullet journals that we're creating ourselves together. The ones that I'm going to be creating for people who aren't as creative but want pretty bullet journals, those I'm going to start getting ready. They'll be on demand, and they're going to start what I want to build with Tishspiration in terms of a gift line. Something I want to do is work on the Tishspiration concept, develop it, and keep going with it. But at the same time, I need to find things that people will appreciate and want as gifts for themselves or others. Again, I'm an author first, so I'm focusing on authorly things, but that doesn't mean it is exclusive. And there will be other surprises, because what would it be if I didn't put surprises in? It wouldn't be for me. And this is something that also I should probably touch on, is the word surprise. Tishspiration is a word I made up, and it's become more. It's something that I found that was inside of me since before I was aware of it. Because for as long as I can remember, something I've always said about myself is that I'm full of surprises. So if I take that I'm full of surprises, and then I start doing things that I do them so well I can even surprise myself that I get them done, it all goes together. And when they meet in the middle, that's when magic happens. I want to help other people find ways to feel this, and it doesn't have to be a huge thing. It can be remembering to write in their gratitude journal every night for a month. And then when you look back on it, you can surprise yourself with what you were grateful for because you won't remember every single entry, especially if you try to make them different every time. Gratitude is something that's very important for everyone. And we've heard it said, the more you give, the more you receive. That falls true with a lot of the things that are in the positive mind space. Gratitude, abundance, optimism, everything that you put out, you can get back. And that's how you can affect the world with Tishspiration, because you can take your own goodness from inside and share it with a smile or a compliment. That's something I discuss in the book. I was not used to taking compliments at all when I started my journey. I'm better at it now. I'm not perfect, I don't think. But I've also started doing something that was also foreign to me, was that if I had a thought that was positive about someone I interacted with, whether I knew them or not, I started telling them. Your hair is really pretty. I like your coat. That color looks nice on you. Stuff like that. If you are just starting to sprinkle a little bit of goodness around the world everywhere you go, it comes back. Because even if the other person is too shy to respond like I was, or didn't believe that the comments were genuine like I did, because I had my issues and I write about that in the book, it still makes a difference, because it does kind of nestle in somewhere, right? You hear it, and then sometimes you need to process it to understand it. Or sometimes you get that smile right away, thank you. Or, oh, hey, I like your lipstick, right back at you, right? And that's the way we can kind of bring the vibe up in the world that we live in, because the more positivity we have, the better the world is going to be. Yes, bad things happen. Yes, sometimes they're out of our control. But if you take it as it is, however they happen around you, to you, for you, however you look at it, you're not in control of what's going on, but you are in control of what happens here. And that's what's important. We need to work on being more positive, giving more good energy, and making sure that the people around us are okay, even if we don't know them. Because what if you're the only person that says something nice to that person for a week or a month? Really? What if you're the only person that cares? It would matter, and it would make a difference, and it might make someone feel a little bit better about themselves, even if it's just for a moment. So yeah, it's about surprising yourself, but it's also about positivity and optimism and perspective. There's a lot of those common threads in the book because they all relate. If I was honest with myself before I did the audition to dance with Janet, I might not have ever done it. I couldn't let that stop me. It was something I really wanted to do. And the point when I was in the kitchen back there and getting ready to leave and having my moment, that was the whole point of it. It didn't matter if she called. It didn't matter if I got a reaction out of her publicity team. It didn't matter if anybody else registered that I did it. What mattered was I did it. I did my best and I sent it in. That was a whole other. I didn't know how to edit video at that point. I still don't really do it very well, but I try. And it was another whole freak out before I got to hit send. But that's something that I have inside of me that I take with me everywhere I go. I am determined, but most of my life I called it stubborn. And that word does come up in the book. But it makes me someone who cares, someone who leads with their heart and integrity by example. And yeah, sometimes when I was new in my journey and new in promoting Tishspiration and becoming an author and starting before any of all this happened, I would have to stop and think when I was scrolling and sharing things, because there was no rhyme or reason when I started, but then I became more intentional. And when you become more intentional about what you're working on and what you're doing and your focus is better, you get better results. So I imagine when I was going to post something, I'd remind myself quite frequently, Mom is a Facebook friend. She might see this. And that would help me decide if it was safe to post or not. Not because I wouldn't have done it anyway, but because I was trying to do things better. Which meant that I had a guideline I was trying to follow from the morals that I was given when I grew up. And when you hit the internet at large and you don't know what you're doing and everything's hilarious and everything's everywhere, it can be a little wild. And I don't think something you did in your life or on social media is something that should engage cancel culture. That's something I talk about. I don't believe in cancel culture when it comes to people, but I do believe it's something we should apply towards actions. I'm going to give you a moment to think about that. Because it's kind of heavy all of a sudden. And it's one of the things that I feel very strongly about. The reason I say that is because I was bullied for most of my life. And I don't believe erasing the people is the answer, but I do believe erasing the actions and not allowing it to be okay is. And that can be applied to several different things around the world. I'm not here to discuss everything that's wrong in the world, but I am here to tell you a little bit about what I think. And that's something I kind of feel strongly about. I think people do make mistakes, and the mistakes need to be realized and, atoned for, and people need to understand that, when something is wrong, then it should be dealt with as something that was wrong. But I do believe in second chances in most circumstances. And again, I try not to judge people, but at the same time, you have to be careful, right? So I hope that made sense. Got a little deep there for a second. Might have surprised somebody. So I'm going to hit refresh again, and it's still publishing. There will be a link at some point today, and it's going to change. It says it's going to be a confirmation email. So I'm just going to check my email to see if anything's happened there. Because, oh yeah, I'm a geek. So yeah, not only am I an author and I relate things to William Shatner, but I'm a geek. Go figure. Bet you never thought that, huh? Okay, nothing from Amazon yet, but I wanted to check because I know it's going to happen. So at this point, Amazon is reviewing the ebook that I've submitted. For anybody who's watching and wondering why I keep checking my computer, it's exciting because it's gone from in review to publishing. It does say it can take up to 72 hours for it to go live. It could happen within the next few minutes, or it could be within 72 hours. The paperback is in progress. I had to make a decision today because I was running out of time and panicking and shaking and nervous with anticipation because I knew that we had this event tonight and I wanted to be on time. And I did something on time for that tonight. I got the ebook into the system. So I got that part done. Now we just have to get it to the point where it's live and ready to order. That is not in my hands. It's not something I can control. I did my part. When I was working on this, I did find that I came to a point where I had to decide, what can I get done to make sure I have a chance at something being live while I'm in my party tonight. And the one thing that came up was the ebook, because a print book does take longer to be approved. It can be done same thing within a few hours or 72 hours. It's up to Amazon. I do believe they are checking for plagiarism, copyright, that kind of stuff. And to be fair, I appreciate that. I can assure you it all came out here. I do reference a couple of things in there, but it's not direct quotes and it's not a direct reference to a certain thing that I needed to cite. But I do reference the You Are a Badass book by Jen Sincero. That book helped me when I was learning about the inner voice and the ego. And since then, I've run into different people and different thoughts about that. So I formed my own from the experience that I shared about in the book. And the other thing I referenced is a video by Prince EA. It was pivotal in me changing my own thought processes and how I view life. And it's really hard, if you haven't experienced something like that, to understand how a video on the internet can change your life. I get it. I understand, but it did. The Prince EA video I'm referring to, if you look it up, it is one with broken glass, is the easiest way I can describe what you see. So think of a bus shelter that has the glass and the glass is shattering. I believe that's what we come up with. Or a person laying in a hospital bed, an elderly person. That would be the other one that might look like it. And I talk about this in the book because when I watched it, I never experienced anything like this in my life. I had just come out of having a rough time, which I talk about in the book, or I write about in the book. And I was moving through that and moving past it, trying to figure out, I don't want to say it was my midlife crisis, but I had come to a point where I realized someday I'm going to die and I need to figure out how I'm going to spend the rest of my life. And this video hit home. The video wasn't, super long or anything, but it did cover a lot of topics in a very short amount of time. And it made things click in my brain. So I would say those two things were really instrumental in the development of Tishspiration in my mind, along with all of the wild things I've done over the years. Tishspiration has been on my radar since 2017 at least as a word, and then it became defined. And it's been something I've been working on for this whole time, even though, I'm doing other things and I had jobs where I wasn't working at home. I worked at a call center for 7 years. I found a way to bring it into work there. And people didn't understand it. They didn't understand how I was changing the way I looked at the world, and I wasn't letting everything get to me anymore. They didn't understand that there is a different way to look at things, and it can make things better. It's something that can really help a lot of people. And that's why I want to get the word out to the world. That's why I wrote the book. That's why I'm going to finish getting the paperback and possibly a hardcover. We'll see. I want to know, does anybody think that I should record audiobooks for the books that I write? Because that's another form. I think I would need a different location with the 2 fish tanks going here right now. I'm sorry if you're hearing, the bubbling water. The laptop does pick that up a bit. The cell phone doesn't, but I wasn't sure about the cell phone and being on stage here, so I didn't know if that was something that was going to affect it or not. So I wanted to play it safe and go on my laptop when I went live here. I have a guest room with a door. I don't have a fancy mic yet, but it's something I'm toying with as a possibility. And my background in public speaking started in church. I did the readings on Sundays, and they taught me how to go through the passage that you would read. You'd read it and make sure, the night before that you weren't going to get stuck on any words. Practice them if you needed to. Then you would, when you're there, you needed to speak slowly, clearly, and take time to look at your audience. Since then, because when I went away to university and I've settled here, I'm actually thinking about possibly looking into doing that again, because I'm going back to church. Not in the last couple of weeks, but I've been watching it on YouTube, so I'm staying, doing the best I can with how I feel safe and comfortable. And I also am now a member of Toastmasters. One of our coffee sisters, as we call ourselves, invited me to a Toastmasters meeting virtually. And I've been there ever since. I think I've been adopted by the virtual reality gatherers out of the Manteca Club. We are looking to be our own club, but we aren't there yet. And they definitely make me feel welcome, because I do bring a different perspective I'm coming in from Canada when I join the meetings, and I talk about things that people don't normally think to talk about at a Toastmasters meeting, because that's what I do. So speaking, yeah, I think it's coming for me. I think it's something that is going to happen. And it's not a question of if, it's more of a question of when. How that will develop and evolve. I'm going to surprise myself and see what happens. And I think I've talked long enough. What do you think? Angela, is there anything going on in the backstage area that I need to respond to? Or do you think maybe it's time we should get ready to go to a table? Yay! The magic of the internet.
Yay, it took me a minute, but I am here. No, I think we're ready to go to a table. We can go ahead and play a little music to get everybody back to a table. So how you'll do that is right now we're on the stage. We're going to close the stage. We're going to play a little video. We're going to close the stage. And then if you are on your laptop, you're going to see the tables to the left of the screen, and just come on to table 1 where you have Tish's picture, unless you'd rather hang out with Jazzy at table 2. But, Jazzy might not be as talkative as Tish, just so you know. So if you're on a device, you're going to want to look down to the bottom of your phone or tablet, and it'll be listed down here and say tables. Click that and then go to table 1 where you will see Tish, unless of course you'd rather hang with Jazzy at table 2. So that that's what we're about to do. We're going to go ahead and play a video, and then we'll see you at the table.
And right before you do that,
Yep.
I am happy to say we recorded this meeting, or this launch party, I guess is what it's called. And it's going to be shared on my YouTube channel for people who missed it. So it is something that you can see. So when we leave here, we won't be live anymore when you see it if you're watching it on YouTube, but that's okay. I do want to thank everybody that came. I want to thank everybody that is going to watch it on YouTube. And I absolutely want to thank everybody who supports me in my journey and wants to buy a book and lets me know what they think when they read it. Reviews are everything for authors. The more reviews we get, they don't have to be glowing, wonderful. It's nice, but reality has to happen there too. So reviews are very important, and I encourage you that when you do read the book, do take the time to drop a review, even if it's short and sweet. That's great. And the other thing is that I'm working on my websites as soon as the books are ready to go. Tishmacwebber.com is up and running right now. There's a second website coming along, and I'm going to link them so they talk to each other. So when the second one's ready, you'll be able to find it through my author website, which is also going to be going under construction very soon. Thank you, Angela. I think we're ready.